Thanks for watching the video. This is Pascal for EMP Reviews. This is a review of Captain America Brave New World. I will quickly summarize the events in the film, and then Carl and I will discuss our experience of the movie. That portion will start at the time posted here. In Mexico, Captain America and the military interrupt what was supposed to be a deal between a buyer and Seth Volker, also called Sidewinder. Sam rescues hostages, defeats Copperhead, while Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, retrieves the stolen adamantium meant to be purchased. Newly elected President Thaddeus Ross surprises Sam by asking him to help in rebuilding the Avengers. Soon after, he tells the world that the remains of a Celestial is made up of the valuable adamantium, proposing a treaty between the US, France, Japan, and India, whose waters the giant rests in, to distribute the substance. Suddenly, Sam's close friend Isaiah Bradley and 4 others try and fail to kill Ross. Despite Isaiah's super soldier strength, all of them are caught and imprisoned. Afterwards, from prison, Bradley describes a blackout, having no recollection of his actions. Sidewinder almost kills Falcon, now apparently hired to do so by the initial buyer, who, back at the prison, mind controls prison staff to kill the 4 individuals that assisted Isaiah. The buyer, Samuel Stearns, also called the leader, contacts Ross and reveals that all of these events are his doing. Sam and Torres manage to find Stern at his lab in a secret prison, Camp Echo 1, as well as evidence that he mind-controlled all of the people who tried to kill Ross. Wilson also finds a set of pills, the same type that Ross is taking regularly. After the events with the Hulk years prior, Thaddeus stuck him in that jail after his gamma exposure transformation enhanced his mind with more doses of the substance, and with the resulting enhancement to his brains, had him do a multitude of useful tasks that eventually led to the presidency. Even with Security Chief Seraph's unplanned arrival and assistance against the leader's mind-controlled men, he escapes. Due to his behind-the-scenes interference, the treaty falls apart and nations unilaterally advance on the adamantium. Sam, Torres, and Seraph meet Volker, who explains everything, including how Ross lied to Stern when promising he would release him after becoming president, and how he was hired by Samuel to steal the adamantium in the first place. Sam meets Ross to convince him to prevent a military confrontation with Japan, as both forces are advancing to Tiamat, the Celestial. Thaddeus reveals that the pills Stern created saved his life. The leader's mind-controlled pilots engage Japan and initiate a battle. Wilson and Joaquin manage to de-escalate the situation, but Torres is severely injured. Thaddeus has episodes of physical and emotional instability that are escalating, which began at the start of the entire situation. One of these attacks is intensified by a phone call by Samuel. Stern kills Commander Dunphy, who was in charge of investigating the pills. While Ross makes a new public address about the treaty, nearby, Samuel confronts Sam and gets arrested. Thaddeus becomes erratic when provoked by the press, and with speakers at this conference playing a recording of the damaging information he and the leader discussed, and with his Secret Service men who are urging him to get off the stage. He transforms into the out-of-control Red Hulk, a result of the pills Samuel fed to him over the years, and battles Wilson. Both men are badly battered during the conflict. Sam finally manages to calm him down by bringing up his daughter Betty, who is estranged from him. Ross is imprisoned, but is visited by Sam and moments later, Betty. Okay, first impression, what'd you think?
Okay, so first impression, I had, didn't have high expectations going into it, I think, which I think helps given the state of most Marvel movies. So I think it met my expectations. I would say that,
Okay.
So I would say it was average, but slightly above average, But I'm comparing it to like it was better than the most recent releases by Marvel, but nowhere near, the heyday of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I wrote a little thing on. There's a Facebook Facebook page, and they have a gigantic channel on YouTube. They're called Midnight's Edge. So I threw a real quick review in there, and I did say that it was a lot better than I expected, especially after all of the bad news about the reshoots.
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear all of the troubles going on behind the scenes?
I didn't, but I remember you kept kind of alluding to it here and there. You submitted a little quote thing here and there, but I've always been that person that kind of stays away from all that kind of noise. I wanted to see it for myself, kind of go into it kind of blind, so to speak, and then so I can say, okay, this is a movie going experience. This is experience. Let me see how this feels, kind of going into it, coming out of it. Because probably the background stuff sometimes gets a little crazy, but yeah, I mean, but even watching it, I think I can kind of see the points where, okay, that was a kind of a interesting shift in terms of events, the way this narrative is kind of starting to take shape. I wonder if that was a rewrite, so those kind of thoughts did kind of play into my head a little bit throughout the movie.
I think I'm lucky in the sense that, like, Captain Marvel is a perfect example, because I could see it as I actually bought it on Blu-ray, and it's ironic because I don't think I'll ever buy Endgame on Blu-ray, because I don't want to see Tony Stark dead and Thor fat and and the Hulk emasculated. The only thing that character was missing was a pair of Crocs, basically.
Right.
But so I'm kind of odd in that sense, where I enjoy Captain Marvel, but I also see it as, we don't need to get into all the political stuff into it, but as far as the reasons for Brie Larson and Brie Larson playing her and all this and that, it was a lot of negative plans, let's say, for Marvel by Kevin Feige. So now with Captain America 4, there's a lot of political stuff that we don't need to bother with. But even without that, they, as far as I understand it, they reshot the entire movie once, if not more than that. The guy, I can't think of his name right now. I'm sure I will put his name up when I put the video together. I believe the same producer that did the Eternals did this movie, and he just got fired. One of the things this imbecile said was that his hiring practices was when he worked, because he worked for Marvel, he said if he's interviewing somebody and he finds out that the guy he's interviewing is a huge comic book fan of the franchise they're working on, he considered that a red flag. So like, obviously, during the heyday of Marvel, it was the opposite direction. If you were a big fan of the whatever franchise you're working on, if they're working on a Captain Britain movie and you want to be one of the writers, and you have every single Captain Britain comic book, then you're a shoe-in. And according to this guy, it was a negative thing to do, so he just got fired. So anyway, we'll be here all night. So let's see here. My first problem was because first off, I've heard some absolutely terrible things about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I watched maybe the first scene, the action scene with I think the mixed martial artist, and that was son of a bitch, I can't think of his name. The guy's Canadian, like I am, basically. I used to be. But the guy's pretty good too, actually. I think he retired just because of he was, after a while, when you get beat up like that, you're looking at causing permanent damage. I believe that's why he retired. But so that guy was in was it Captain America Winter Soldier at the beginning, and so they brought him back for the first episode, the first 5 minutes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is, granted in Endgame he gets the shield, but I believe it's definitely in Falcon Winter Soldier that he officially becomes Captain America. And so
right.
I'm watching the beginning of the movie, and an anchor is saying, Captain America this, and it's showing a picture of Falcon. I'm right away that just didn't sit well. It just doesn't feel comfortable because I'm watching the first Captain America movie right now. Actually, I watched all three of them, and I'm watching it the first one again. So it just does not feel like a fourth movie. They should have made this a Captain. They should have made this a Falcon and Winter Soldier without the TV show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It does feel like the tail end of like the TV show. It feels like what the TV show could have been. It was like a great finale, kind of. Winter Soldier and the Falcon TV show. That's how it felt. Or it also felt like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. Things is like mashed together. That's kind of how I felt for those two.
Well, it's funny. You just perfect, because that's my next note. I've never felt like the Edward Norton Hulk film like fit into this universe. It just
right.
And it's shocking to me that the movie was released a month, or just a little bit more than a month after the first Iron Man. And William Hurt is in there, and he does not feel like the William Hurt from the Captain America movies. It's just, I don't know what it is. It just and then of course, in order to connect to that, the Ross by Harrison Ford in the scene where he has an outburst, he's got the mustache, and I'm like, okay, this ain't working.
Right, they tried to make that connection. Yeah, tried to shoehorn that part in. Yeah,
that was just
different.
Now, how'd you feel about the action, like in the action in the movie and the action in comparison to the previous movies?
I feel like honestly, that probably was my favorite one of the parts of the movie was the action scenes. I think they were very wonderfully kind of choreographed. I think they pulled in elements from other highlights of other Marvel shows, like close combat hallway scene, like a Daredevil, or just like various parts, like part Iron Man using like boosters to kind of assist with things, mixed in with some, martial arts. I think that I like the way they played up the fact that he was human, so they kind of had some little extra help. Everything was like extra assistance, kind of like Batman mixed with Iron Man, kind of mixed with a little vigilante kind of fighting styles, whatever. So I think that was like my favorite part, except the part with him having a shootout with the old man from Breaking Bad. That was the one scene where I'm like, okay, I mean, this guy's too old to be doing this stuff. Maybe 10 years ago he could have pulled this off, but that was kind of like.
What? Oh shoot, I can't think of his. You mean Isaiah, the guy?
Giancarlo, yeah.
Yeah, the guy.
Giancarlo.
Yeah. Well, that's I will say, I'm trying to think here. Well, first off, like as far as my reaction to the action, I think again, this movie, it's weird. It's like I have a strange fondness for the Josh Trank Fantastic Four movie, the one that everybody on Earth hates.
Okay.
The reason
Which one was that?
That's the one with the real dark one where I'm trying to think. There was the black guy was playing the Human Torch. Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Okay. You never seen? Okay.
Yeah, I never seen it.
That's I'm not even gonna recommend it to you because it's just shit, But if I didn't know anything about the Fantastic Four, I think I would even like it more. And I think there's a lot of that in my enjoyment with this movie. I could kind of enjoy it like if I detach myself to the whole franchise. Right.
Yes.
The opening scene, it's weird, man. I like the action. The hand-to-hand stuff was cool. The fight with Copperhead, the guy with the beard, I guess, that's the guy. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But then you see him use the shield like Captain America. He picks it up like Captain America, and like he stomps his foot and it flies to his forearm. And I'm like, that's a Captain Rogers thing, and the wings.
Different because I feel like that part, it was showing you that he has learned some of the same skills by hand, because he did a little bit of a show. Yes, it was a little bit of a stretch and realism. Okay, he wouldn't actually be able to kind of do that exact, but I did appreciate they kind of like show, okay, to show you how far he's progressed, kind of like a young Jedi Padawan, so to speak, learning like more skills. And so as you get into it, he's like, okay, he's progressed as a shield wielder. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was weird, like the wings are, first of all, they're supposed to fit all the way back there, and it's vibranium, and then somehow when they swing and make a kind of shield around them and slam to the ground, that pushes all the soldiers off their feet. It's like, okay, and then it's an Iron Man suit. They like at the end and at the beginning, like when they were on the carrier, their aircraft carrier, he and Torres are running, and then they fly off into the sky. Like, and I'm like, I could kind of, I guess, accept with Iron Man, and
I feel like those are his same powers. So yes, he can fly, but yes, now he had some enhancements in the same way Spider-Man did. And the last one we had like the Tony Stark shield spider suit. So it's like the same. It's got some upgrades.
Yeah, sure. and that's the problem. And I'm fairly convinced that the reason that the Marvel franchise went from Iron Man having these kick-ass metallic suits, from what I hear, if memory serves, they use the same special effect technology from the Transformers to make the suits. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then they went to nanotechnology, which is, as far as on this, it looks like magic, basically.
Yeah, that look really, really bothers me. It feels like a cheap move to me.
Yes, and also, so I'm fairly certain that was created as a way to prevent the characters from having to run somewhere to get their suit, basically.
Right.
And then the other problem is, and I believe this happened a lot with Spider-Man and Iron Man too, definitely, and definitely in the last Ant-Man movie is, I don't know if it's a contract thing or ego or whatever, but they want their face to be on screen. So as often as possible, the helmet disappears, and it's like, you want to do that during battle, really?
Yeah,
I mean, like there's an army of fans. There's an army of fans who are happy that Carl Urban never removed his helmet in Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that too, and that's why I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, he never takes it off. That is remaining, remaining true to the source material as much as possible, even if it's a different medium. And I appreciate people really try to do that.
It keeps the credibility to the plot, So
yeah.
All right. So I, of course, Mr. Giancarlo Esposito never fails. No matter what crap you give him, that guy's always amazing on screen.
He is, but I didn't like that fight between them two. I mean, I just feel like he's too old. Like, I don't know. Like, he should have been fighting Harrison Ford or something like that. I don't know, something of that nature.
Yeah, yeah.
He was good though. Like, he definitely was still good. But yeah, I was like, come on.
I don't know. I was looking hard, and they sold me with Isaiah. Maybe not in the gym, but like after he tried to kill Ross and he was running and was throwing tables around. And I was looking hard trying to find an error in the special effects, and I'm like, man, that's him in there, man. I mean, obviously it isn't, but I was sold on him. And Esposito, that was, you're right. They pushed it a little bit. It was a little unrealistic there and stuff like that. So, but now the guy who, there it is. Okay, I didn't realize I had Carl Lumbly's name in my my notes.
Lumbly.
Yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't know
from the TV show.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know he was on a TV show because, like I said, I didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just found out today that I found out two things today actually, that Lumbly was in the Winter Soldier. The only thing I know him from is the Fall of the House of Usher from Netflix. and
Okay.
I highly recommend that.
Okay.
I'm watching it for the fourth time right now.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Must be
it's
really good.
I'm
Fourth
not
time.
sure the kind of entertainment you like, but this is like a really dark and intelligent type of horror.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's preachy a little bit, but it's really really good, and the end just blows you off the like. There's a real powerful ending. It's fantastic, great cast, etc., etc. But that's yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing I know him from. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like, and of course, just as good as Esposito, great acting, and
Yeah. He played that
I don't
character so
think.
well.
Yes, I don't
He
think.
did so well. Yeah.
Unlike Esposito, I think, in spite of the kind of lackluster plot, his acting was valuable in here.
It was great, man. Like
Yeah.
he did just enough with his role. Like even like his physicality, the way he's kind of moving around, he looked like a ex super soldier. Like the way he's kind of moving about, like even in the room, it was like and fit perfectly.
Yeah,
With, like the very minimal like CGI with the little stuff, but it was very well done. Yeah, his role.
yeah. The other thing that I found out today is a guy who did a video, and he didn't like the movie at all. This guy used to own a comic book and comic book store, and so he's got through and through comic books. So you make a mistake with any character, he's gonna let you have it.
Right.
So the Ruth Bat Seraph, the
Okay.
yeah. So
The
now
mousy lady.
she is, on the one hand, she's 5'2" and she's kicking ass with guys that are at least 100 pounds of muscle above her. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's very
The thing that I have to keep in mind, unfortunately, is one of the reasons this woman is as short as she is. She fought cancer, and thank God she won, but it stunted her growth, basically. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's something that I have to keep in mind when I have my criticism. But there's an art to selling unrealistic, like unrealistically, I guess, short women, or women that are not that don't look necessarily robust. Like
Right.
everything that Black Widow has done on screen, I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did not believe Mrs. Seraph at all.
Oh man, yeah, she's like a little girl out there, like fighting in the hallway. She's like slapping. One movie she did, like she like almost like picked somebody up almost.
Yes,
So, like, I was like, what?
You want to do that? Give me somebody, another super soldier, basically. I mean, like another show that I'm gonna watch a second time is. I highly recommend this too. I don't know if you have Netflix and stuff, but it's called The Hellbound, and they just had their second season. It's almost as good as the first season, but there's a woman in there, and I won't spoil everything, but you believe it when she's kicking ass, because she's using a retractable stick.
Okay.
So she's kicking ass, and I believe I think she's a martial arts star also. She was in I'll send you a link. One of my all-time favorite films is this Korean film called Jung-E, and we won't go into it, but she's one of the main stars, and like it's crazy, like this with Seraph, who fought cancer and everything, and thank God she won that battle. With Jung-E, the main actress, the other main actress in the movie, died before the movie came out. She was I'm like, oh my God, So anyway, okay, so
yeah.
Harrison Ford, I don't know. People on YouTube are saying that his performance was bad. I thought it was great. I mean, there were scenes where he looked completely worried about the leader, like going out to the public with what was going on, and he looks very old. I'll say that much.
He does. He does. Yeah.
His movements were old and everything, but he is still a damn good actor, man. Like considering how bland he is in his interviews, he is someone else in front of the camera.
Yeah, for sure, man. He definitely turned that switch up, and you can tell I think he's having fun with this role, because he can kind of like just ham it up, so to speak. Like he was like definitely like leaning into that emotional part of like being all friendly and like fake, like being political. But then when he said that line, "This is politics." What do you say? Grow up or something. Whatever he said, I felt it. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's
He's a good actor, man. He's a
like
little
Jack
nuts.
Ryan.
I,
Yeah, right.
I think he's a pot smoker, so he's probably smokes a little too much. I don't know, but
Right.
anyway, yeah. On
Yeah.
screen, he's still delivering, man. I don't know these guys, like Patrick Stewart and guys like that. I'm like, dude, would you retire? You must have enough money now, you know.
Yeah, they just do it just for the love of the
Yeah,
craft and
I don't
having
know.
fun.
Some people that actually, one rumor is that these guys are bad with their money, so they still need a paycheck and stuff. So
I mean, it's a pretty easy living, I would think. If you're at that stage, just go in there and just stand in front of a green screen and just act like you got to go.
you know
And then
what?
turn.
I
But,
did hear he was a prima donna on set, man. He was a big pain in the ass, man. Apparently,
okay.
yeah,
Well, he's earned it, I guess. I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Okay, so well, answer me this now. The leader, one of the last things he did before confronting Sam was he went to a general's house and killed him. What was that about?
I have no idea, man. That was again. That must have been a rewrite. I think.
Yes, that's right. You're right.
Because I was like, what? Yeah, it was like had a trench coat. And it looked very comical, and I was like, this whole scene, even when he yelled out,
Yeah, yeah,
it was like
you're
a weird, sad trip. I don't know.
yeah, you're right because it's probably part of the reshoot. Because I don't know, man. I must be missing something because I watched another video today, and the guy is like, there's too much evidence that this story has been reworked several times. I'm like, I don't quite see that much, and I guess the scene at the general's place and he killed the man and his wife, that is probably some weird stuff that had to do with a different version, because from what I hear, the reason why Isaiah was invited to the White House, because in the version we just saw, there's no reason for Isaiah to be brought to the White House, and Seraph describes that he had been experimented on, so he has been mistreated by the government, so there's no reason why they would invite him. But according to another version, he helped Torres and Sam regain the stolen adamantium at the beginning, and I guess he had his own costume too, because he was essentially another
Right.
Captain America, So I guess.
Yes.
I guess that was an original idea. I don't know if it. I guess
Okay.
it might have been.
Okay.
It might have been shot. Maybe, who knows?
Okay.
So-
That makes sense. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why he was, according to some sources, that's why he
Right.
was invited to the White House. But okay. So
Okay.
let's see.
Plot
Oh yeah.
hole.
So one of the bad habits Disney has is they're doing this. This was the worst. Was probably in Ant-Man 3, when anytime there was a potential for a scene to have a strong emotional content, they kill it with a joke. And there was a pretty decent scene where Bucky shows up because Torres is in the hospital, and
right.
yeah, he shows up, and the emotional dialogue in here, the scenes where like Isaiah was talking to Sam by himself, and this scene with Bucky, I think they were well written. Maybe I need to see the movie
very
again.
strong.
Yeah, and because
Very strong, yeah.
man, I remember those kind of scenes in Black Widow, and man, that was just catastrophic. But anyway, so I thought they were pretty good, except at the end of the scene with Bucky, they make a joke out of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because they had some very, and it would have made the movie better if they left out that funny stuff. Like
Yeah.
the funny stuff to other movies like the Ant-Man or whatever. Let this be more serious, because it has more of a heavy weight to it, and it would have added to the overall feeling of the emotional state of it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're right, especially that scene with Carl Lambert. He's in jail. He was talking, and that single light was kind of shining over his head. You can tell like he was just in pain, and it was deep, man. Like
Yeah.
I was like, well, like this. What kind of movie is? It's like a separate kind of movie. So that was a good moment for the balance out the action, but it didn't that part with Bucky didn't need that little funny little throwaway.
Yeah,
joke,
they made a joke out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like it reminds me of the when what was Oscar's Isaac's character's name in Star Wars? Whatever it was him and Flynn, and they were about to be executed in Rise of Skywalker, and then they start joking and stuff. It's like
yeah.
But okay, so
again,
now
like, that's something that's a Star Wars thing. They always like joke.
oh my god,
danger,
yeah, they were jokes in all three movies, man. Yeah. Okay, so now let's see. One of the first pieces of criticism that I heard, like mostly on YouTube, is a lot of people found that the advertising of the Red Hulk was misleading because he's in there for I guess 3 minutes, and I don't know, man. I thought it was a really. I mean, okay, so they in the realm of the Marvel universe, Red Hulk is ridiculous. I'll flat out say that. But as far as having a banger at the end of this movie, I thought that was cool. I liked it. It's amazing how they made you could recognize Harrison Ford in there.
Yeah.
And I will say and on the other hand, I will completely agree that Sam does not have the super serum, and even with the shield, like the Hulk would absolutely destroy him in 10 seconds. So that whole thing was as absurd as Captain Marvel reigniting a sun at the end of the Marvels. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. That's something that into all the physics of like what would happen to a human body if they were in any of these superhero situations. But I guess his is more glaring than others. Like I saw a discussion between like him and Iron Man. People would say, okay, well, Iron Man has on a suit. If he gets hit by the Hulk, his brains will spatter against the side of his helmet. Then people would say, well, no, because of the nanotechnology, it shifts according to the the point of impact, therefore reinforcing and saying with Sam, okay, well, he's just a person with just a shield and just wings, so he's kind of semi-exposed. Therefore, he wouldn't be able to take those blows. But I do think there is somewhat of a slight double standard of what should be real versus what should be kind of like just forgotten about, suspension of disbelief, so to speak. And I think this one's mostly kind of have to do that because what else are they going to do? I mean, the Falcon doesn't have any armor really, so.
Well, as far as Iron Man, he had the Hulk Buster, so they absolutely addressed that with that, So that's the good thing about it. They had him have a machine that was like large enough to level up. Yeah, so that was cool. So, like the thing that I never thought I would see, I guess, in major franchises, because in unknown franchises, you I guess you can do things that are considered absurd, but when you put a new product in an existing franchise, you have to stay, if you want to have credibility, you have to stay within the binds of those rules. And so, like the Star Trek Discovery is a perfect example. The idiots who are in charge of it created an Enterprise. First of all, the spaceship is ugly. And then they created a device that lets you travel from one point of the universe to another in an instant, which is stupid. And then there's sonar in space. There's no air in space, so you can't make any sound, And they had events that affected, I think, I don't want to say the entire universe, but they had like cataclysmic events that affected like gigantic sections of space, which is completely unrealistic.
Okay, okay, I see.
it's yeah, it's
Some
what
point,
it's
it's
one
too
of the
much of a
reasons.
stretch.
Was that?
I said at some point it's just too much of a stretch for the
Yes,
imagination.
and
Yeah.
it shows that the people who are now in charge don't know what they're talking about. Like the Last Jedi is a perfect example. Like there were spaceships running out of fuel, and there were spaceships that were like it what the rule was in this ridiculous film is the fact that if you shut off your engines, then your spaceship will stop moving, which is ridiculous.
Right.
So yes, so that's what this fight between the Red Hulk and Sam, that's what it feels like. It's what happens when people who not only don't know what they're doing in this realm, but they certainly didn't read the comic. We just saw and I don't know if you're gonna venture to find out about this, but I don't know if you heard of the Batman Arkham games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I
okay.
played those. Big
Okay,
time.
so
Yeah.
did you hear about the last one that just came out last year?
No.
Okay,
What
it's
happened?
called Kill the Justice League. So not only did they killed the Justice League, they killed Batman, they killed all of them. And
What?
yes, and I'll send you a link to that too. I mean, it's one of the things that infuriates me. There's a YouTuber called Matt McMuscles, and there's another one called I think it's Luke Stevens. Yes, and they both talked a lot about the problems with the game. And believe me, they have enough material to discuss other things than the story in the game because the game sucks. So I don't. I know with all the stuff that they discussed, I don't know why they didn't discuss the fact that the Justice League gets killed. But in any case,
Yeah.
the evidence that the people involved should not have been involved is one, they killed the Justice League, and the second thing is, from what I read, you cannot use the Green Lantern ring to do evil, if I am correct here. And in the video game, like there's people doing crazy stuff with the ring, and I believe the people who are doing the ring stole it from what's the John Stewart, so, and that is completely against the
John Stewart.
yes,
That's his name?
that's
Okay.
the main
Well,
that's the
Hal
name of the human who's Green Lantern. Yeah, so
Hal Jordan.
oh, okay. Like I said, we're gonna avoid politics, and I'm assuming John Stewart. I'll have to look. I'll have to check, but I'm assuming John Stewart is black, and there's a reason why.
Oh, right,
yeah,
right. Okay,
yes.
Okay, yes. The black. Okay,
Yeah.
The black Green Lantern. Okay, yeah. I know what
Yeah,
you're
and
talking about. Okay.
And well, let me put it this way: the same reason there's a black guy playing the Green Lantern in here is the same reason why Idris Elba played the main guy in the Dark Tower when that guy is white in the comic in the original books. But we won't go into it.
I never read that before. Yeah. I never read that.
There's so many books I want to read, dude. There's so many books I want to read, and that's one of them. And like I told you earlier, like there's a in my long list of favorite movies. There's a pretty decent size of it that are absolute shit movies. And the Dark Tower, dude, I don't know what it is. If I watch that movie, I gotta watch it 2 times in a row. I don't know what
it's bad.
It's bad. The people who read the books hate it. There's like 4 books, and they crammed that into one movie. Matthew McConaughey plays the villain. I love it. The black guy who played the president in 24. I don't know what his name is. Yeah,
the Allstate guy.
Yes, yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's in there too. I love the movie, but everybody, I think I'm the only person on earth who likes it, man. So yeah, okay.
We all need our favorites. Yeah.
So in effort to kind of keep it short, let's just go ahead with our grades from 0 to 10.
Yeah. 7.
7. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 7 also. I guess that's an objective grade. It's somewhere around 5 and 10 actually. because
No,
because I'm halfway, okay, so I'll say seven, and yeah, and I'll say
seven. It
for
was
my
a
own
seven.
purposes, I'll say eight. Yeah, like
Yeah.
as far as my own personal
Wait.
enjoyment.
Well, then it's a 7.5. Then you gotta say one thing with all that stuff all compiled, all aggregated into one bucket, and it was a 7.5, which I'm kind of there too, But I'd say seven because frankly, I'm getting tired of Marvel movies. I'm so sick of them, and so, but I appreciate they tried to give some little clear and present danger, Jack Ryan kind of element, who done
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of stuff in there. I like that,
yeah.
Uh,
The conspiracy stuff with Harrison Ford keeping the leader locked because he was useful to him, and he was dying, and so the guy made pills for him, and it's one of the reasons he didn't let him go. And the fact, like, I was pleasantly surprised to know that the stealing of the adamantium was arranged by the leader in the first place. You know,
right.
that was
Yeah.
cool. That was cool. I like that.
And
Yeah.
this is a bridge to the X-Men. You can clearly see that's the next phase by
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
announcing adamantium. They haven't done that before, so it's cool.
Well, okay, without going into politics, let me put it this way. There's a reason why instead of, like, for the next Fantastic Four movie that's coming out, there's a reason why the Silver Surfer is a woman instead of the traditional Silver Surfer. Let me just put it, so
Why is it?
politics again, and
But,
it's crazy because it's like, if you and I are billionaires and we have a considerable amount of power, we go into Hollywood and we say, we want to make a movie. I'm not quite sure about the independent circles, but as far as like a major franchise, let's say, we would like to call the shots. You and I, we want to make a Captain Britain movie or something like that. In spite of all the movies, in spite of all the money and power we have, there's still, I believe, a power in Hollywood that will tell you, this is who you could hire, this is who can be on screen at a certain amount of time, and we're talking about race and gender, and I'm not gonna go any further than that. So
And I tell you what I don't like, and that's Robert Downey as Doctor Doom.
yeah,
And try to say he's some type of like alternative universe Iron Man or some crap, but we'll see.
yeah. Well, okay, and to give you an idea of what I know is going on in Hollywood, and we better stop after that because we'll be here all night. But the reason why I could not watch
I guess all along.
what's it called, Deadpool 3. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay,
You didn't see Deadpool 3?
I like, here it is. So at the beginning of
What?
the movie, he, first of all, the woman who is basically one of the main reasons of the first movie, she breaks up with him. She's got a boyfriend, and so that's a nasty little thing in the story. Then the time police, I can't remember exactly what it was, but they certainly they wanted, I can't remember the exact what they destroy. They wanted to damage him for whatever reason. Then he goes into a bunch of different dimensions, and all of the Wolverines are trying to kill him, and then the guy who plays what's his name, Chris Evans, plays the Human Torch.
Yeah, man.
He
That
gets
was awesome.
he gets
That was
killed.
awesome, man.
He gets
Yes,
killed.
that was awesome.
And
It was great.
essentially we're watching the same way that he dies is the same way that we saw Mr. Fantastic get killed in Multiverse
Yeah.
of Madness.
Yeah.
And I turned off the movie once I saw that the base that the female Professor X was at was a carcass of the Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man.
I turned that off.
Like,
I turned that off.
that.
I was like, forget it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it really was just a Ryan Reynolds movie. I mean, that was Ryan Reynolds
Oh yeah, did I?
like
Well, did I
first.
mention?
That's
Did
all
I?
it was.
Well, did I mention that in this universe all the X-Men are dead again?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
I can't do that stuff. I'm sorry, but that stuff is all done on purpose. It's to destroy these characters that people love. All right, so
all right, man.
all right,
Good talk.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.